can go in now.
First things first, Susan. We have found your true love.
Oh, thank God.
A very fortunate development. I was really beginning to wonder if we were going to get behind on schedule. One of my colleagues from Redbrook High faxed this to me just yesterday. They have a student whose profile also demands that he meet his true love soon. Here it is. David Elliott turned 18 2 weeks ago. A senior, just like you. Last time he was tested was in October. His counselor sent me his results, and they're rather excellent. Attractive. Very funny and good-natured, all with an absolute minimum of surgery and tutoring. The board has declared him a hero since birth. And now he's going to save you.
Can I see the picture?
Most true love happens in the senior year. That way, if you're meant to get married right after high school, if your profile demands that, then you'll have time for a realistic relationship. It's such a romantic year. In any case, in collaboration with Redbrook High, we have arranged a chance meeting for the two of you this Thursday. Listen carefully. After school, you will take one bus later than usual because a sudden hatred of your life and your family will drive you to wander around in aimless despair for 40 minutes. David Elliott will decide to skip his guitar class. And as a result, pure coincidence will have the two of you at the bus stop on Reese Street at 3:15, waiting for the same bus. Acute awareness of each other will be inevitable, and then a sensitive and philosophical conversation will ensue.
I've never seen you at this bus stop before.
I've never seen you outside this bus stop either. We don't know each other at all.
So seeing is knowing?
That depends. Is knowing seeing?
You tell me. Do you know me? You see me now. You talk to me. On or off the bus stop, it's quite irrelevant in hindsight.
Isn't everything irrelevant in hindsight?
You have such a gloomy outlook on life. Who or what has hurt you so bad that they have taken you illusions and smashed your dreams?
No one's ever asked me that before.
Well, I'm asking you now.
But make sure not to overdo it on your first meeting.
I think I'll walk home.
Remember, he's a hero. Your profile is troubled teenager. He has to save you. Bring some structure in your life. Improve your relationship with your parents. Raise your overall level of happiness. Life will start having constructive meaning for you again. But it has to happen naturally. Of course, it's a major part in the development of your character, but don't be too eager. The board has studied global literature for generations, and we know that it won't be realistic unless it's gradual. Nevertheless, we should see a significant difference in 3 months. Do you understand?
Absolutely, Mrs. Fowler.
But for another month at least, you will have to uphold classic troubled teenager behavior. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Mrs. Fowler.
Classic troubled teenage behavior. That reminds me. When is the last time you had a fight with your parents, Susan?
Last week.
Last week. How interesting, because your mother called me this morning to tell me that you have refused to quarrel with her all month. She was very upset.
I couldn't find anything to get angry about.
Do you mean that everything has been perfect all month? Good Lord, Susan, you've been in the troubled teen category since 10th grade. You've completed the critical thinking course. There is always something that can stir your dissatisfaction, as long as you really make an effort, of course.
I just feel sorry for them. I really can't help it. I promise you, Mrs. Fowler. I tried to ignore it, but when my mother starts to cry, I just don't really like it.
If the board had thought you suitable for a good relationship with your parents, they would have trained you accordingly.
I know.
And the fact that they didn't means you would have failed, even if you had tried.
Yes.
How do you feel now?
Grateful to the board. I'm sorry. I just have so much to do, and displaying all the characteristics of the troubled teen every day. I've just been so exhausted lately.
You don't suit your profile as perfectly as some, I'm afraid. But you've been destined to be a troubled teenager since your earliest testing.
All right, little girl, what does this remind you of?
I don't know.
Just give it a try. The first thing that comes to mind.
I don't want to.
But the board wants you to answer these questions, Susan.
It looks like a skull.
I've reviewed the results of your last tests recently, and when it comes to natural disobedience and overall dissatisfaction with life, your results barely meet the troubled teen criteria. You know, it happens sometimes that people don't like having to do what they have to do. But remember, we have found your true love, so the end of this phase of your character is nearing. You can start behaving friendlier soon. But don't slack off now. You want to be able to look back in 10 years and be proud, don't you? Besides, your profile isn't such a bad one. Admittedly, the board didn't assign you one of the, what I'd call, conventionally desirable profiles. Like future successful career woman. Future femme fatale. Or future content mother. But you could have done so much worse. In this very school, for example, we have 2 misunderstood dropouts. Their profile demands that they quit school before graduation. One of them is a senior just like you. And just like you, she doesn't quite fit her profile. She loves school. She gets straight A's. I had her in here in this very office just last week. And I can tell you, when I reminded her that her time is running out and she should pick a date to quit soon, well, it got quite emotional. Life isn't always easy, Susan.
It sure isn't.
It's always like this towards the end of your high school days. Everyone's plot lines are still developing. No one knows what happens next.
Some people do.
Nonsense, Susan. They don't know what the final tests will bring them. Will they become a gentle brain surgeon? An aggressive lawyer? And the future content mothers are being paired with the future hard-working husbands from schools all over the region as we speak. And they don't even know yet what number of children and what village will be assigned to them.
Well, at least they've been prepared for all those options. They can guess what's coming to them. But I have no idea.
Whatever suits you most. Many doors are open to you now. The misunderstood teen doesn't usually last beyond college. As a matter of fact, you could make a complete turnaround and be a content mother. That is, if David Elliott is classified as a hard-working husband.
But what if my children are troubled teens or misunderstood suicidals?
If you're meant to be a content mother, you will bear it with good cheer.
And if my true love becomes an abusive alcoholic rather than a hard-working husband?
That would be rather ironic, considering that he's a hero now.
But maybe I wouldn't like it.
If the board assigns you the abused drudge profile, they'll give you guidelines. You'll know what to do and how to act. It will help you through. Besides, abusive alcoholics don't usually live very long. Within 10, 15 years, he'll receive his instructions to get into an alcohol-induced car crash. And your profile will change. I must tell you, there are some very attractive possibilities for widows. I'll give you some reading about it, and I think the library has a rather excellent book on the subject, so not to worry. Now, time to get you back to class. Don't forget, True Love, 3:15 on Thursday.
Yes, Mrs. Fowler.